Welcome to the Moose State of the School year 2025-26. I am the principal, Karen Quesada. You're going to hear from all the members of our leadership team today with lots of different updates to share with you about academic progress, social emotional progress, and some of the exciting initiatives we have for this school year. Our presentation is broken down into 3 parts. We'll talk about just who we are as a school, our mission and vision. We'll talk about our continuous improvement plan, as well as the various family and community partnerships that we have and ways to get involved. So our school mission here at Moose, our vision is engaging critical thinkers to become compassionate and inclusive global citizens. Our vision at Moose, we are curious and inclusive problem solvers committed to academic and personal growth, striving to make a positive impact on the world. Here we see how the CPS district mission complements the work we're doing here at our school. You'll see the graduate profile as well as the core values that tightly align to what we're focused on here at Moose. Along with the CPS vision, we bring this to life here at our school as well. We expect our daily learning experiences to be rigorous, joyful, and equitable for all students. So we have a couple of new staff members to recognize here. We have a new assistant principal this year, Miss Nina Friedman, a couple new teachers. We have a cluster teacher, Emily Sir, it's kindergarten through 2nd grade intensive supports. We have a new 6th grade teacher teaching language and literature and individuals and societies, Miss Phoebe Myers, and a new 2nd grade dual language teacher, Miss Gijosa. We added an additional support staff member, Genesis Vargas. Dave Cano switched from a custodial role to security. We have 2 SICAs, Kathina Brown and Carmelita Satterwhite, and we are fortunate to have some resident teachers learning from some of our own experienced teachers here at Moose. And we have a cadre, Ms. Schumann, who helps fill vacancies day to day. Okay, so next we'll talk about our continuous improvement plan and the work that we're doing to bring our strategic plan to life. In the past, CPS schools received a rating. It was called the SQRP, the School Quality Rating Policy. You might remember them as level 1, level 1 plus, level 2. Well, that policy has been shifted completely to a new policy called the CIDT, Continuous Improvement Data Transparency Policy, which really means that we're not leveling schools, but we're just making all the data available and transparent to the public off of the CPS website. So on this slide, you'll see the way that you can access all of the data for all CPS schools. They're sort of slowly rolling out all of it over the course of a couple of years. But there are quite a few metrics available now, and more will be coming this winter. So here at Moose, we are wrapping up the 3rd year of a 3-year strategic plan. We call it in CPS the Continuous Improvement Work Plan. After analyzing lots and lots of data, our team identified 2 main priority areas that we've been working on the last 3 years. One is around curriculum and instruction, and one is focused on inclusive and supportive learning. Big, exciting news for our school is that each year we receive an ISB school rating. They take lots of metrics into consideration, and in the past we fell in the targeted range, and this year we have bumped up to commendable status. So this is just a slide that explains a little bit about what that means. In the past, we had the student group of students with IEPs were not making adequate progress in comparison to other student groups, and so that was really bringing down our rating. And so this year, with our commendable rating, they've identified that we have no significantly underperforming student groups. We have a graduation rate greater than 67%, but we are not yet quite in the top 10% of schools statewide. So this first priority we're going to talk about is around curriculum and instruction. The theory of actions at the top there: if we plan and assess student learning, provide professional development on equitable research-based instructional strategies, then we see teachers, coaches, and administration focused on mastery of standards and delivering engaging instruction, which leads to all students making progress towards mastery of grade level standards. So we're really thinking about proficiency here, and we're measuring that by how students perform on the Illinois Assessment of Readiness exam, which they take once a year in the spring. So most recently, we've been working on teachers planning differentiated objectives and working toward developing interim assessments for math and reading. Just this past year, some things to highlight, some progress we've made includes tightening up the alignment between the learning standard, the objective, and the task that students are engaged in. And we use the Rigor Walk tool to assess that and give feedback to teachers. Our planning release time with our IB coordinators allows teachers to collaborate on the development of the instructional units of study and building out assessments that are aligned to grade level standards, while also meeting the requirements of our IB and dual language programs. This year's learning cycle, you'll hear more about it from our program coordinators in just a bit, but we're really focused on clarifying what instruction looks like for teachers as well as students by establishing success criteria and monitoring learning to provide high quality feedback to students. And we are working this year to really launch our interim assessments. It's been something that we've been planning, but we're really gonna take the leap and make it happen this year. Okay, so to talk more about the practice data connected to this priority area of our CIWP, our IB coordinator, Ms. Battaglia, and our dual language coordinator, Ms. Jimenez, will be talking through some really important work that we've been doing.
Hi, I am Libby Battaglia. I am our PYP coordinator here at Moose, and Ms. Jimenez and I will be sharing some of the work that we've been doing over the last 2 years with both of our programs.
Hola, soy Alexandra Jiménez. I'm the Dual Language Coordinator, la coordinadora del programa Dual, y tengo aquí acompañándonos la señorita Battaglia. Vamos a platicar un poco sobre nuestro trabajo los últimos 2 años.
So first we're going to talk a little bit about the work of our instructional leadership team and the work that they're doing with teachers throughout the building with our learning cycle around success criteria. Our instructional leadership team is engaging in this learning cycle to intentionally learn the work first as an ILT so that we can then learn alongside of teachers in the classroom. This focus really helps us strengthen clarity around what success looks like for students across all content areas.
Primero vamos a platicar un poco sobre el enfoque instruccional de Moose. Estamos en medidas de un ciclo de aprendizaje sobre criterios de éxito. Nuestro equipo de liderazgo instruccional, ILT, está participando en un ciclo de aprendizaje que se enfoca en los criterios de éxito. Como líderes, primero aprendemos el trabajo para luego aprender junto a los demás docentes en los salones de clase. Este enfoque nos ayuda a fortalecer la claridad sobre qué significa el éxito para los estudiantes en todas las áreas de contenido.
The work that Ms. Jimenez and I have been really working to do is make sure that we're streamlining our programs. So at Moose, classrooms are visited through multiple program lenses. The CPS Rigor Walk tool is one way, the IB standards and practices is another way, and then the Caminata framework for dual language. And each of those own frameworks has its own priorities, yet all aim to promote high quality, equitable learning experiences. So to streamline and align our approaches, Ms. Jimenez and I developed a unified aligned walkthrough tool that kind of calls out the intersections among all 3 frameworks. This alignment ensures that every classroom visit, regardless of who is entering, supports consistency, shared language, and holistic view of teaching and learning.
Un trabajo en particular que la señorita Battaglia y yo hemos estado trabajando muy arduamente es en crear una herramienta de observación que está alineada en ambos programas, en IB y en el programa dual. En Moose, los salones de clases son observados desde múltiples enfoques programáticos. El Rigor Walk Tool para la red del distrito, los estándares y prácticas de IB y el marco de caminata para el programa dual. Cada uno tiene sus propios indicadores, pero todos comparten la meta de promover experiencias de aprendizaje equitativa y de alta calidad. Para unificar y alinear estos enfoques, la señorita Battaglia y yo hemos desarrollado una herramienta de observación alineada que muestra los puntos de conexión entre los 3 marcos. Esta alineación garantiza que cualquier persona que visite un salón pueda identificar cómo se conectan los distintos programas que aplican a ese contexto.
So just to update on our curriculum review and our IB units, we are in year 2 of our curriculum review process. This phase that we're in right now centers on building sustainable structures and processes that support long-term alignment and teacher planning. we want to make sure that the units that we're planning can be used year after year for teachers. And a major focus of that is ensuring that all classroom shifts their units so that the ELA standard scope and sequence are aligned across grade levels and aligned with the order of the Skyline units of study. This alignment supports continuity and coherence from one grade to the next.
También queríamos platicar un poquito sobre la revisión curricular y desarrollo de las unidades aquí en la Escuela MUS. Nos encontramos en el segundo año de nuestro proceso de revisión curricular. Esta fase se centra en crear estructuras y procesos sostenibles que fortalezcan la alineación curricular y la planificación docente a largo plazo. Este año, el enfoque principal es asegurarnos que todas las aulas ajusten sus unidades para que la secuencia y progresión de los estándares de artes del lenguaje en inglés y en español estén alineadas entre los diferentes grados, promoviendo así continuidad y coherencia en el aprendizaje.
So last year, our school embarked on finding a new math curriculum to support students at our school. And after extensive input from teachers, parents, and students, Moose adopted Eureka Math Squared as our comprehensive pre-K through 8th grade math curriculum. Implementation began this year, accompanied by professional development sessions to support effective classroom use and deepen instructional practice.
Muy bien, ahora vamos a platicar un poco sobre la implementación de nuestro nuevo currículum de matemática Eureka al cuadrado. Después de recibir retroalimentación de maestros, familias y estudiantes, MUS adoptó el currículum Eureka Math Squared como su programa integral de matemáticas desde pre-kinder hasta el 8º grado. Este año iniciamos su implementación acompañada de desarrollo profesional para apoyar a los docentes en la planificación y en la enseñanza efectiva de las matemáticas.
And then finally, we have some PD opportunities and coaching opportunities that have been happening throughout the school year for teachers and for coaches. The IB offers some district-hosted workshops that teachers will be participating in. But here at Moose, we have a partnership with leading educators, and they provide targeted math coaching focused on instructional planning. And then the program coordinator, so myself, Ms. Frere, Ms. Jimenez, also engage in ongoing coaching cycles throughout the school year, providing consistent feedback and support aligned with our instructional priorities.
Y claro, continuamos fortaleciendo la práctica de los docentes a través de diversas formas de acompañamiento. Tenemos una colaboración con la organización Leading Educators que nos brinda coaching en matemáticas, enfocándonos en la planificación instruccional y discurso académico. Y también tenemos coordinadores del programa que ofrecen acompañamiento continuo durante el año escolar, brindando retroalimentación y apoyo alineado con nuestras prioridades instruccionales. También quería añadir que también tenemos talleres educativos para los maestros que acompañan con nuestro currículum de matemática.
Next up, we would like to introduce our assistant principal, Miss Nina Friedman.
Hi, I'm Nina Friedman, the new assistant principal at Moose Elementary School. On this slide, over the past year, the state of Illinois has been working to reorganize the way that IAR, ISA, and the ACT are being scored because they noticed across these assessments there was no coherence in how these assessments were scored. So you'll see the old levels of expectations on the left, and on the right are our new performance levels. So you'll notice between these three assessments, the ISA we take at Moose and the IAR we take at Moose, there are now only 4 categories over these 2 exams: below proficient, approaching proficient, proficient, and above proficient. A huge celebration for us at Moose is our IAR ELA proficiency. So this is proficiency in reading and writing in English. You'll see on the left of the slide our IAR ELA performance over time from 2023, the 2024 school year, to the 2024-2025 school year. We have seen gains in ELA at Moose, and we are outperforming the district and the network in ELA. The IAR for ELA scores on the right, you'll see broken down by student group, including by gender, by special education status, by English language learning status, by social economic disadvantage status, and by ethnicity. We also have our math IAR scores over time. So similarly to the last slide on the left, we have our performance over the last 2 school years. In math, we're seeing growth, and we want to see even more growth this coming year, especially with the work that we're doing with multi-tiered interventions. And in math, we are still outperforming the network in terms of proficiency in math. Again, on the right, you'll see the breakdowns of our math performance by those student group categories. At Moose, we want to celebrate that we are growing in English language arts at a higher than typical growth rate. So that means that we are outperforming the network and the district in several categories. As you can see, our female population, our English language learners, and our Latinx population are showing higher than typical growth in reading and writing in English, which is amazing. And the rest of our students are showing typical growth in these areas as well. Way to go. In math, across all of our categories and subcategories, we are showing typical growth, which means we are on pace with the network and the district for the growth that they would expect to see in math over the course of an entire school year. I'd like to welcome back Ms. Quesada.
Our second CIWP priority is around establishing an inclusive and supportive learning environment. Our theory of action is if we support general education, dual language, and diverse learner teachers with professional learning about data analysis, identifying appropriate interventions, and progress monitoring, then we see students engage in differentiated instruction at their level for all groups of students, which leads to increased levels of tiered support for all students. So recently we've been working on tightening up our MTSS systems and structures, making sure that teachers understand and know how to utilize the MTSS team to support student interventions, and that teachers know how to use our district-wide computer system called Branching Minds to develop, log interventions, and also progress monitor. So we've really focused on teacher training the last little while. So Ms. Yarnell joined us last year, and she's helped clarify the MTSS process with teachers. She's helped teachers with doing these tasks in Branching Minds, and also has provided training around Wilson and Just Words, which are research-based intervention literacy programs. Okay, so next we'll hear from our counselor, Ms. Conway, and our case manager, Ms. Stephanie Rodriguez, to talk a little bit more about the wraparound services and teams that we have to support an inclusive learning environment.
The Climate and Culture team at Moose meets regularly to focus on initiatives to create a supportive environment for all students. We have 4 initiatives this year. One is around attendance to decrease chronic absenteeism. Another is around our Tier 1 practices, so those systems and structures connected to restorative practices and discipline. We're also looking at social emotional learning to make sure that there's active school-wide implementation of our SEL curricula, and community, so thinking about those school-wide expectations and norms. We also have an MTSS and BHT team here at Moose, so when students need extra support, we want to make sure that we're addressing their academic and social, emotional, or behavioral needs. So if we get a referral from a teacher or a parent, the team will review some baseline data, take a look at what's currently in place for that student, and any data we might already have. And then in collaboration with the teacher, we'll consider some root causes to discuss next steps and outline a plan for the student. Sometimes that might include a Tier 1 classroom support, and it might also be Tier 2 or 3 interventions to address more needs. We always try to do a follow-up meeting in about 4 to 8 weeks to see how the student has progressed and determine any next steps that we might need to take.
Hola, muchos me han visto por la escuela. Soy Stephanie Rodriguez. I am the case manager for Moose this year. Although I'm new to this role, I'm not new to Moose or teaching. I love the opportunity to work with students and be an advocate for all students. As the case manager, I am in charge of coordinating services for students with specific needs, acting as a liaison between the student, family, teachers, and other support staff to ensure they receive proper support. Some ways we do this is through partnerships with outside organizations to help us support us more. We are proud to say that we're continuing our partnership with the Gus Foundation. Gus partners with Chicago Public Schools to support inclusive and equitable education for all students. Its partnership provides professional development, training, and direct support, and it also collaborates with other organizations. We are happy to share that our leadership team and the second grade dual language teachers in SICA are the ones who are going to be attending this year. Another focus for us is providing intentional meeting opportunities for our co-teaching partnerships within our school to collaborate with others through peer observations. We have a strong focus on strengthening our collaborative practices where the general education teacher and special education teacher share responsibility for planning, instructing, and assessing all students. We are in the process of appealing for more special education teachers and SICAs to meet the needs of our students here at Moose.
Next, we'd like to welcome our MTSS coordinator, Ms. Yarnell.
Hi, Moose community. My name is Cassandra Yarnell. I am the MTSS coordinator and interventionist here at Moose. And I'm going to talk you through a little bit of this STAR 360 data that we're looking at. Just to kind of generally orient everybody, if you don't know what MTSS stands for, it stands for multi-tiered systems of supports. Tier 1 being the instruction that everybody gets in the classroom. Tier 2 being that next level of support that's often in the classroom with teachers in small groups. And then Tier 3 being that more intensive intervention that might happen outside the classroom with me or with another adult. So this data that we're looking at, STAR 360 is a universal screening tool, which means that every student in the building from kindergarten through 8th grade takes this assessment. Our students in our dual language program take this assessment in English and in Spanish. The STAR 360 data as a screener, it lets us know as a building, how are we doing? Is this the distribution we want to see? It also, on the individual student level, kind of raises a flag if we need to do some follow-up diagnostics or to figure out what is the problem so that we can offer that support. Looking at this data from school year 23-24 and last year, we're really excited about the growth that we're seeing in English reading. And then this is our math data from the past 2 school years. Students in our dual language programs also take math in English and in Spanish. This is one of the data sources that really helped us identify the need for a new math curriculum to strengthen that Tier 1 instruction. And overall, we're encouraged by the reduction in students falling in that urgent intervention category. In improving math instruction overall continues to be a primary focus at Moose. If the STAR 360 data is what you would have seen on the assessment reports that went home a couple of weeks back. If you have any questions about your specific students' results, you can feel free to reach out to me. And next, we will hear from Ms. Savillon, our ELPT English Language Program teacher.
Hi, Moose family. My name is Ms. Savillon, and I'm the Bilingual Coordinator, ELPT, here at Moose Elementary School. We are so proud to share the progress our English learners, our ELs, are making at Moose. Each year, all students who are part of our Bilingual Services program take the WIDA Access test to measure their growth in English proficiency. This test looks at how students listen, speak, read, and write in English as they continue to develop both languages, English and Spanish. So here's what the data shows. 50% of our English learners met or exceed their expected growth this school year, which is very exciting. A big increase from 34% last year. Our Moose students are outperforming the network average, which is 36%, showing that our bilingual and dual language instruction is helping students make strong progress. Growth is happening across all student groups. So here is what you see. Male students, 52% meeting growth goals. Female students, 48%. Students with individualized education programs, which is the IEPs, 41%. Students identified Latins, 49%. Students with economic disadvantages, ED 48%, which is very exciting. This means that half of our English learners are making steady progress toward full English proficiency while continuing to strengthen their Spanish, which is so critical here at Moose. Research tells us that developing proficiency in a second language can take up to 5 to 7 years, so every step forward is a meaningful achievement. So our commitment as a Moose community, here at Moose, we believe that bilingualism is a superpower. Our dual language and bilingual education services help students build academic skills in both English and Spanish, preparing our students, our Musketeers, to be confident, multilingual leaders in our community and beyond. We are so grateful for our family's continued support. Your encouragement at home makes a huge difference. Moose love, Miss Savillon. And now we're gonna transition to Spanish. 1, 2, 3. Cambia tu mente a español. Este mensaje es para nuestras familias de Moose. Esto va a ser un progreso de los estudiantes que están aprendiendo el idioma en inglés, que se conoce como los EL. Y vamos a hablar de la competencia al idioma inglés. So, querida familia de Moose, mi nombre es Miss Avillón y soy la coordinadora bilingüe aquí en la escuela Moose, más conocida como ELPT. Estamos muy orgullosos de compartir el progreso de nuestros estudiantes de inglés, que se conocen como ELs. Están logrando ellos muchas cosas aquí a Moose. Cada año todos los estudiantes tienen que forman parte de nuestro programa bilingüe, toman servicios bilingües, toman el examen que se llama WIRA Access. Eso mide el crecimiento de nuestros estudiantes en el dominio de la parte de inglés. Esta evaluación mide cómo los estudiantes escuchan, cómo ellos hablan, cómo ellos están leyendo y cómo se están escribiendo en inglés, mientras continúan su desarrollo en los dos idiomas, que son inglés y español. Esto es lo que muestran nuestros datos. El 50% de nuestros estudiantes de inglés alcanzaron o superaron su crecimiento esperado este año escolar. Un gran aumento comparado con el 34% del año pasado. Muy emocionante. Nuestros estudiantes de Moose están superando el promedio de la red, que es de 36%, lo que demuestra que nuestra enseñanza bilingüe y de doble lenguaje está ayudando a los estudiantes a lograr un progreso sólido. El crecimiento está ocurriendo en todos los grupos de estudiantes. Esto es lo que te enseña la información. Estudiantes masculinos, 52% alcanzando sus metas de crecimiento. Estudiantes femeninos, 48%. Estudiantes con el programa de educación individualizado, que se conoce como un AEP, es un 41%. Estudiantes identificados como latinos, 49%. Estudiantes con desventajas económicas, que es más conocido como el ED, 48%. ¿Qué significa esto? Esto significa que la mitad de nuestros estudiantes de inglés están logrando un progreso constante hacia la competencia total en inglés, mientras continúan fortaleciendo su español, que es muy importante. Las investigaciones indican que desarrollar competencia en un segundo idioma puede tomar de 5 a 7 años, por lo que cada paso adelante es un logro significativo. Nuestro compromiso aquí en Moose, nosotros creemos que el bilingüismo es un superpoder. Nuestros programas de doble lenguaje y de educación bilingüe ayudan a los estudiantes a desarrollar habilidades académicas tanto en inglés como en español, preparándolos para ser líderes seguros y multilingües en nuestra comunidad y más allá. Estamos muy agradecidos por el apoyo continuo de nuestras familias. Su motivación en casa hace una gran diferencia. Con mucho amor de Moose, Miss Avillón. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Conway. Ahora voy a pasarle la parte a Miss Conway.
Chronic absenteeism refers to students who are missing 10% or more of school days. We ended last year with about 29% of our students considered chronically absent, which was lower than the previous 3 years, and we really hope to continue that trend. This is a focus for us because research shows that students with good attendance perform better on tests, have a better chance of being on track in high school, and have a greater rate of college acceptance and college completion. Some of our attendance efforts include regular communication with families when students are absent and celebrating students with good attendance or improved attendance. For students with attendance concerns, our program coordinators meet with the student or parent to do some goal setting, And for those who are chronically absent, we really want administrators to have a parent meeting. We also have an intervention called Attendance All-Stars, which includes a daily check-in with the supportive adults at school to improve attendance. Cultivate is a tool for understanding how students are experiencing their learning environments. Based on our spring survey results, we have identified 3 learning conditions to focus on in this school year: well-organized classrooms, affirming identities, and feedback for growth. Each learning condition is an aspect of the classroom experience that serves as a precursor to deep engagement and student learning. By focusing our attention on these areas, we hope to create a learning experience for students where they feel safety, belonging, respect, and like what they are learning truly matters. In part 3 of this presentation, we will look ahead to partnerships with our families and community organizations. As we mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, it is the mission of CPS to prepare each student for success in college, career, and civic life. At the elementary school level, this involves planning for high school and exploring college and career pathways. Go CPS allows families to explore and apply to nearly every CPS school and program through one online platform. I meet with 8th grade students and families to complete their applications for high school, and Ms. Battaglia and Ms. Jimenez are available to help pre-K families with the application process for kindergarten. This year, our pre-K families have the priority to stay at Moose for kindergarten if they apply through Go CPS. Another way that we prepare students for post-secondary success is through our success-bound curriculum in grades 6th through 8th. Lessons are taught weekly during their advisory and focus on self-exploration, academic success skills, high school selection, and college and career exploration. It includes individual learning tasks that build from 6th grade through 12th grade, creating a post-secondary portfolio. And now let's welcome back Principal Quesada.
At Moose, we strongly value the relationship between school and families. We know that it directly correlates to student success. There are so many ways to get involved. We have formal groups like the local school council, the bilingual advisory council, the parent advisory council, Friends of Moose, which is our fundraising group, the parent mentors. We also have a variety of community partnerships. A few examples that we've worked with for a while include Communities in Schools, the C4 Counseling Partnership, Uniting Voices is a choir program we're doing, and Community as a Campus, of course. The Gust Foundation is another one. To wrap things up, just want to remind you about the best way to communicate with the school. We still are waiting for the approval for the school communication app Remind to be an active vendor that we can work with. Until then, we're still relying on email through Aspen. We are updating the school website regularly. Social media, make sure you're connected to our Facebook and Instagram sites. And through email, I send out a weekly principal newsletter called Moose News every Friday afternoon. You'll get lots of information there. So thank you for your partnership. We're excited for all the growth we'll see and continue to see this school year. Thank you.